Kevin, Coach just talked about the Clippers and just the challenges of defending them. What was the main thing tonight you feel like you guys just weren't able to do to slow them down?
Yeah, I mean they got some great scorers over there, great penetrators, guys that can create for others as well. Um, then they got a good bench. You know, you got Russ coming off playing well, Norman Powell playing good ball. So and they make shots. You know, it's a make or miss lead. They've been shooting the ball well from the three. We finally got more 3-point attempts up than our team, more 3-point attempts up than our opponent, but they just made more tonight. They had it clicking.
Curious, just at one point I think it was in the fourth quarter. I think it was four straight turnover. I think you guys were down 7. How huge was that stretch there where you guys could have got it, even closer?
Yeah, man, it's huge. You can't. It's tough to overcome those, and especially on the road, the home crowd gets into it. Guys get out in fast break, get easy points. They get more confident, and that usually turns the game for you.
Curious, obviously it's just 6 games, and Coach said the Clippers are further along with their cohesion than you guys. But how are you feeling just about the whole idea of that part of this team right now, trying to find that cohesion?
Yeah, we just keep grinding, man. That's all I'm about. Come back to work the next day, keep figuring it out.
Kevin, I know logistics probably played a role in how the fourth quarter went, how the game went at the end, but I know the fourth quarters have been a real challenge for this team, even though first 3 quarters you guys can overwhelm teams. Like, what was a challenge tonight specifically, and in general, what do you feel like has been an issue for this team late in games?
Yeah, I think we started off the quarter well, and then they went on a little flurry there to just kind of – we was already down going into the fourth. So we cut it to 7, and they got momentum, and they went on a flurry and went up 15, 16. It's hard to overcome that. So I think that's what's been happening. We just have a bad 2-minute stretch of basketball, and that'll turn the game sometimes for us. We'll be playing well, and then, a couple turnovers here and there, missed shots, and just the problems compound themselves and just make for a bigger lead. You try to take some positives from every game, negatives from every game to watch and get better from, and we'll continue to keep watching and keep getting better, keep putting in that work, every day for us to be a better team moving forward.
I've watched a lot of your games this year, and you mentioned turnovers tonight. Like, is there something in the fourth quarter where the ball just doesn't move the same? The game gets harder for you specifically in those fourth quarters?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes we can simplify our attack a little bit more, and just play to our strengths as individuals. And I think our game has been when we had some solid fourth quarters, it was us driving closeouts, coming down, making quick decisions, getting into our offense a little earlier in the shot clock, stuff like that. So we got to lean on that type of stuff. We play a little bit faster but under control in the fourth. It'll start to turn for us. And like I said, we had some spurts of solid play in the fourth, but we definitely have to be better.
Kevin, you said that before about starting the offense earlier. Is that a matter of just having that mindset the whole time? Because sometimes maybe the team may fall in the laps where, okay, we just bring it up and then just get into something.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give the other teams credit too. A lot of times they're scheming for us coming into the games, and a lot of pressure, a lot of denials, a lot of top block stuff that, trying not to let us catch the ball because they know if they let us play freely, then we can go off and score a lot of points. So we getting almost playoff-like physicality and coverages sometimes when we play. And that's something you just got to work through and keep grinding through and trying to figure out. I think we watch a lot of film to try to figure out the spacing and where guys would be effective at. And quite frankly, we just haven't put it all together, but I feel like we're moving in the right direction.
Kevin, you keep talking about grinding. Your experience in this league about how long the seasons are, do you talk to your teammates about that?
Nah, we're all pros in here. We got multiple guys that have been in the league for 5+ years. So if I got to tell them what's coming next, then I don't think I should have to tell them what's coming or what the season's about. I think everybody here is experienced enough to know what a flow of a season looks like. And, we trust guys to just come to work. No matter how you feel, no matter what happens, what's on your mind, you still got to get up and go to work. That holds true for everybody in here. So I think that's the approach we have as individual players, is that regardless of what happens, we still got to go in there and be the best we can be every day.
You've got a lot of experience playing on teams with multiple stars, though. Maybe that's an advantage that you have.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of these guys play with great players too. You know, you got Nurk play with Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum. Like, they play with players that can score the basketball and create for themselves as well. So I don't think it's nothing new. You know, and I think it's basketball at the end of the day. I think a lot of guys here got high IQ for the game and understand the game at a different level. So we just, like I said, we keep putting in that work in every day. And as players, we got to come out there with more of a sense of urgency, knowing that, all right, we just got to be better. And I think we will.
Kevin, go ahead.
Kind of talking about like the league in its totality. You know, unfortunately, hearing about like John Morant and his injury, I feel like you handled your injury really well mentally. Is there any like advice that you would give some stars like that? In regards?
Yeah, I don't give it too much advice. I'm sure everybody's given Ja advice over the last year or so. And he's been through injuries before. And I'm sure this is probably his first tough one. I think that's a 6-month recovery. But for the most part, just keep your mind straight, keep your support system tight. And like I've been saying, it's like regardless of how you feel, days where I didn't want to come into the gym, there's days where I was feeling sorry for myself and didn't believe in myself, but you still got to go to work and get the rehab in to get better, you know. So I think Ja has a great mentality. He's been working hard his whole life to get where he is, so he'll bounce back.
Kevin, I don't know if you saw what Draymond talked about the comments that you made, and basically was like he reflected and said, he took a positive from it.
He was pissed off about what I said
initially, and then he thought about it and found the positive in it.
Well, you got to look at it from my perspective. Like, before I had made those comments, they were saying Draymond's going to therapy and shit. Like, what I'm supposed to think?
Right.
They say somebody going to therapy. I'm just hope he get better from that and hope he learn from whatever he feel like he needs to learn from going to therapy. So that's all I heard, and I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he can move past that. Draymond is an incredible teammate. He got his times where he loses temper, but everybody has those times, and I'm sure they all all happy to have him back. But I didn't mean no ill will by what I said. I know some people look at me as this malicious snake, passive aggressive. Like, I know how people feel about me sometimes. So when I say shit, I don't mean no harm by nobody. I don't mean to disrespect him or his family if he felt that way. I'm just glad he's back on the court.
I think he reflected on it and saw.
Yeah, I just seen the headline, and I ain't really look at the whole thing. I'm just glad he's back. I'm glad he's able to talk about the situation and move forward from it and get back to playing and finishing out his Hall of Fame career.
Kevin, I'm not sure how you and James's tenure ended and relationship ended, but do you guys still have a good relationship despite kind of how everything ended up with Brooklyn?
Yeah. I mean, no doubt that I was pissed about the situation. I'm sure he was pissed about having to move with teams again, but when the smoke cleared, you realize it's somebody that you came into the league with, somebody I really, really love as a brother. I want the best for him as an individual. I want him to play bad when we play against him, but for the most part, I want what's best for him and his family going forward. As much as it affected our team, I just still had to look past that and just move forward and realize we still had some solid moments together. And I wish for the best for everybody in that situation.
Given the run that you, Russ, and James had together in OKC, a night like tonight's special, any more special?
Nah, ain't no more I always I've been competing against these guys on other teams for the last 10 years, it felt like. So it's past that point of being like special, seeing these guys again. It's just another opponent. We got respect for each other. We never gonna forget those moments we shared coming into the league, because I feel like a lot of teams and a lot of franchises in sports looked at that young team and that's something to emulate. 4 or 5 guys, young players that didn't care about them being young, just went out there and played the hardest that they can and had some success. So it was a special time for me. I don't know how everybody else feels about that time, but it was a special, special time that I always pull back from, and I always loved playing with those guys. So it was good to see them have some success and still being in the league at 16, 15, 17 years in the league. That's always fun to see.